Hey everyone, so I've recently been looking through my computer and I came across some files titled Cubeland, and it's actually a game I created way back almost 5 years ago. And this, according to the files, the first ones were created in January 2011, and the last files of this project were created in August 2011. So, I'm not so sure if those dates are correct since I've moved computers since that time, and some of the dates may have been off because I feel like I've worked on that project longer than that. But anyways, this video is pretty much just showing some of the stuff I created way back when I was 12 years old. So, let's get started. For some background information, the first project I've ever created, or let's say just the first thing I made inside Blender when I just first got it, was a maze game. And this pretty much was it. You're a cube and you're going through a maze. And this was because I just watched a mini tutorial, and that pretty much is what it showed me. And then from there, I decided to have an idea to why not make a game out of it with more enemies and make it more interesting. The game then eventually evolved into sort of like a maze game, but this time there was also an enemy character, as you can see over there, and it's shooting cubes, giant cubes at you, and if you fall, you die. And unfortunately, because it was such a long time ago, a lot of the textures for the death scenes and everything are no longer there, so you'll just see a white screen. But before, I remember I had text saying like game over and stuff like that. And the cool part is if you go over here, there'll be a cutscene, and you will shoot at the enemy, and this will begin another section. This is like the boss section. And I'm actually not so sure what I was doing back then, because the boss will like run at you and stuff. And I don't remember how to kill it. All I remember is that you always die. It could have been that I'd never finished it, which is most likely, but I can't remember what that ending was supposed to be like. Eventually, the game evolved into having more miniature characters. Like over here, where you have cubes shooting at you. And then there's also that enemy boss guy throwing at you, and you have to make sure you miss that, or not you will die instantly. And pretty much over here, you don't actually have a health bar, because I didn't know how to make one. Just if you fall off the platform, you die. And pretty much all the cubes keeps pushing you. And that's how you just need to push the enemies off their platforms to kill them. And there's also this platform that goes up and down, and you have to kill this guy. And now, if you die over here, what's pretty neat is that there's also checkpoints, so you respawn at this section of the game. So now we have to go over here, and I remember you have to hide over here so you don't get hit. And there's more enemies. And then now we have this thing, we can move over here. And if once you get to the catapult, another cutscene happens. You shoot a cube, and that randomly creates a bridge somehow. I don't remember the logistics of that idea. I think what was supposed to happen is that he shoots something that falls down. Anyways, now, if you go over here, there's a passageway. And yeah, there's this guy, which I don't think you can kill. You just have to dodge his attacks all the time. That's a bit frustrating. And then you finally go over here, and then you're supposed to face the final boss, but I never finished that. And that's that. Eventually, we evolved into this version of Cubeland. And this version actually have a health bar this time. And this is when I began to actually think of it as a full game. And actually, we start off with an intro, but I've actually never made the transition between the intro and the actual game. But anyways, let me just show you what it looks like. So you're supposed to talk to this guy, blah blah blah. There's no actually talking because I never made it. But then the world is breaking apart, and you have to quickly run away from everything, dodge all the broken stuff, jump off this, and eventually you're supposed to get to a portal, which I never finished. At the end, there's supposed to be a portal, and after that portal, you're supposed to go into the cutscene. And that's over here. Boom, pass through the portal, and then you see the enemy boss. And you're going up, And then instructions to the game are supposed to come up, but I don't know where those textures are anymore. And then now we start. And this is actually when the game actually gets quite interesting. And if you stay, you can notice that your health bar actually goes down, so that's pretty neat. And yeah, I think you actually die if your health bar goes to 0. And let me just kill these guys. Controls are, if you press space, you pretty much shoot the guy, and you just want to shoot until they fall off. That's pretty much how it works. And eventually now, as you kill more people show up. And yeah, we just need to kill. And once you kill those guys, this opens up, and we now go into a cutscene. Whoa, that thing just broke apart. And the boss has arrived. And now we're supposed to get another like instruction stuff. And boom, we have mana. And yeah, it works. It wasn't working before, but when I was testing it. But yeah, so now we're at the boss level. And or the mini boss at least. And then we can shoot at this guy, and he has a health bar. And we just need to keep at it. And then he creates his shield, which you have to dodge carefully. And I think I'm gonna. Oh, I'm not died. Oh, I died. Okay, so this charge attack, it makes you go really fast, but also blurs your screen. And it takes up mana. Which is pretty cool. Let me shoot this guy. Oh, also, one neat thing is that I also added a blur whenever you get hit. So you get that feel of intensity. Then he dies. And then we're supposed to get another like cutscene, which I never finished. And that's pretty much that level. And eventually what happened when I created this is that I decided to go to the next level. Now we begin to enter the full world of Cubeland. And here it is. This is just a prototype of what the map looks like. I don't think that, yeah, this character can't do any things. He can just walk. That's pretty much it for this version. And this is pretty much what the world was gonna look like. I remember I was gonna have enemies up there, which you would have to shoot down. And also you have a sword, which you can use. Because I ended up wanting to make this game into a hack and slash, which is pretty cool. Or you can alternate between hack and slash and using a sword. Unfortunately, since all the files are quite everywhere, I don't actually have one that has a full working character, but it was supposed to look something like this. How you could go into melee mode, and you can go into shooter mode, and you're supposed to be shooting, but obviously this version is not shooting. But in this version, we have the shoot, and I don't know why the cube is tiny, but yeah, we are able to shoot in this version. And this was actually a prototype because I wanted to think about doing third person and having it be able to like turn around. And this was an incredibly inefficient way of doing it and was a bit buggy, but actually looked pretty cool. How you can actually just go press the up key and have the character go up and do that. Because if you've ever tried that without a code, it's really hard. Let me see if I actually have the logic bricks. Logic editor, bam. This was all for just that neat little spinny thing, because I had to make all the different rotation possibilities, and that was a bit annoying. And that's a spoiler of this next thing I'm about to show you. Eventually we come to this prototype of this character, and this was one of the cooler looking ones. And in this version we can actually block, and we can spin around, we can slice, we can jump and smash, and we can also charge forward, but it's a bit buggy, I think. Oh no, it worked. I was having troubles before, because the problem is all these files were done like 4 years ago, and Blender has changed quite a bit since then, so some features don't work. And I'm not so sure which version of Blender I'm using right now, but obviously it is glitching up quite a bit, as you can see all around here. I pretty much just picked a Blender that is an older version. I also had cutscenes which I was planning to make, which these are the prototypes to it. It looks pretty cool. But that was pretty much it, sadly. Bam, and strike. Here we actually have some enemies that I was planning on making. I set some of the animations, but unfortunately I never actually got to programming it. And I had a lot of ideas on how I would approach the logic bricks, but unfortunately I never finished it. And that's pretty much as far as I've gone with this idea of Cubeland. After that, that's when I went into making lead-in, and that was quite interesting. For those of you asking, unfortunately I don't make games anymore, or at least I haven't made any in the last, I think, 3 years. And the main reason is just because I've found that I preferred making characters and doing all the art stuff for 3D modeling. And I've always been hyped about making games, but in the past at least, I've wanted other people to program, and I wanted to just stick with the art stuff because I feel like I'm better at that and that's what I prefer. However, I have recently started taking a computer science class and I'm starting to learn Java, so I might end up making games again, but probably not in Blender since it's a different language. But who knows what the future lies. So that's pretty much the world of Cubeland. And I guess the main reason why I wanted to make this video is to show you that things like games or projects aren't gonna be done in a day, and you don't become an expert in a single day. It takes a really, really long time and a really long process to learn all these things. And you can't really just think about doing something. You have to keep on practicing and just keep doing it. And this was probably, I think it was, according to the files, it was a 7-month project. I don't know if that is the case. And even in those 7 months, back then I would spend like 5 to 7 hours on a weekend just working on this. And I remember during the summer, because back then I was in middle school and I didn't really have very difficult classes or anything like that. And I had a lot of free time, so I would always spend all that free time working on things like this. And that's pretty much how I learned. I didn't really follow many tutorials. Every once in a while I would probably Google search or go on YouTube to watch some things. But most of the time it was just me experimenting and playing around with the software, thinking about how I could do something. Because a lot of these things, I would say that I figured it out myself and I just experimented. But of course that did not happen in a day. That took many, many, many hours. So for those of you who are aspiring to become video game developers or whatever you do, just remember you can't do it in one day. It takes a lot of time, and just keep doing it and keep drilling, keep practicing. So I hope you guys like this video. I'm sorry that I don't do much 3D stuff anymore because I know a lot of my subscribers are looking for these kind of videos, but recently I've been doing more film. But who knows, in the future I think I might come back to this and we'll just have to see. So if you like the video, please share, like, and favorites, and thank you for watching.